Ah, there you are. So, it's time for a brand new weekly series to start on my channel. And as you can tell, I've just popped into my Tardis to find all start off this information out. So in this video, we're going to be looking back in the history of Doctor Who, and the very first episode we're going to be looking at is the series from 1983. So, what's more important about this year is 1983. So, 1983 was when the show became to its 20th anniversary. It came to 20 years of Doctor Who. And how did I celebrate it? We had season 20. In this series, we had 7 stories, 23 episodes, including the mighty anniversary special that we got on the 25th of November. And also we had some great episodes, and some episodes were broadcast one day after the other. So we had, in 1 week, in 1983, you had 2 Doctor Who episodes airing each week. I wanted to go back into my TARDIS and travel back to 1983 so I can sit there in front of the telly on a Tuesday and Wednesday night in 1983 to watch Doctor Who. Or from the beginning, it started on a Monday and Wednesday, and then halfway through February, they switched it between Tuesday and Wednesdays afternoon. So, the half of the information I got from this is from my brand new Doctor Who magazine, Doctor Who Chronicles 1983. So, this will become a weekly series because there's absolutely a lot I really want to do. So, this is going to become, as I say, a weekly series. So, this week, it's going to be the look card 1983. Next week, it will be on something totally different. It could be a modern era year, or it could be another classic era. You never know. I never go out. I'm going to travel into my TARDIS. I never know where I'm going to end up. I could end up back in 2005, and I could actually do a whole video on that. Or I could end up going way backwards to 1964. So, 1983 became the year of the 50th anniversary special of Doctor Who. So in this video, we are looking back into the year 1983. So, we end up with 7 stories, with 23 episodes, which are, you got Arc of Infinity. Part 1 was aired on the 3rd of January, Part 2 was aired on the 5th of January, Part 3 was aired on the 10th of January, and Part 12 was aired on the 12th of January. So in this story, Arc of Infinity, the 5th Doctor comes across his most deadliest Time Lord from the world of antimatter, known as Omega, which the Doctor basically did defeat in the 10th anniversary special known as Doctor Who, The Three Doctors, which basically aired on the 30th of December 1972 to round about the 27th, something like that, of January 1973. So in this story, Omega returns using the help from a Chancellor. So what can a person tell you about this story? It ends up with it being set in Amsterdam. So half of it is actually filmed in Amsterdam. Some of it is filmed in studios. For Gallifrey, we have the Time Lords wanting to put the Doctor to death. And when you have the Doctor saying, killing me will help you back here. Not killing me will help you. There's a traitor back here on Gallifrey. So they put the Doctor into the Matrix to make it look like that he died, where in fact he didn't. The Doctor just ends up going face to face with Omega, and in the encounters that Omega's got hold of Tegan. So him and Nyssa end up going back to Amsterdam to try and rescue Tegan and her cousin, which basically ends up at the end of it with Tegan joining the 5th Doctor and Nyssa again on a whole lunar adventures, travelling in time in the TARDIS. So the next story is known as Snake Dance, and this story was broadcast between the 18th of January to the 26th of January 1983, with parts 2 and 3 being aired on, part 2 being aired on the 19th of January and part 3 being aired on the 25th of January. So we end up going back to the Mara story, where in the previous season, the Mara took over Tegan's mind. So with the Mara still infiltrating Tegan's mind, it ends up programming the TARDIS to take it back to its home worlds, where it can try and create havoc once more. But he is stopped by the 5th Doctor, but unfortunately, Tegan does actually end up spreading the mark of the Mara and using its power against the people on this planet. I can't remember the planet's name. It's been a while since I watched Snake Dance. Again, it's a good episode. You have some fantastic stuff going on, and it's the return of the Mara. So, the next episode is No More in Undead, and part 1 was aired on the 1st of February, part 2 aired on the 2nd of February, part 3 aired on the 8th of February, and part 4 aired on the 9th of February. So this story sees the return of the most famous Doctor Who character, Brigadier Alistair Gordon Lethbridge Stewart, in his school, in a school where the Doctor's latest companion, who is actually working for the all-known powerful alien entity known as the Black Guardian. And the Black Guardian wants Tarlo to kill the Doctor, because the Doctor stopped the Black Guardian from getting its hands on the key to time. So with the Black Guardian dedicating revenge on the Doctor, he ends up trapping everything. He tries to trap the Doctor, but everything fails. You do come across these kind of weird like aliens with their brains like here, who one of them does pretend to be the Doctor and trick Nis and Tegan, and then when you see it like she turn around and then you have that screaming of Nissa going ah, and then you just go psh, the end of part 1 or part 2. Again, this story is pretty much enjoyable. I am going to be doing a whole review on the Black Guardian trilogy soon, so I'm not going to spoil a bit more too much to that for that review. So the next story is known as Terminus, which basically aired on the 15th of February for part 1. Part 2 aired on the 16th of February. Part 3 aired on the 22nd of February. And part 4 aired on the 23rd of February 1983. So this story ends up with the Doctor's companion Nissa leaving the Tardis team so she can go and try and cure a deadly disease. Now, on this actual ship, Tegan does get infected by it, where the Doctor and Tarlo end up trying to stop everything going on. And then you have that kind of mad, panicky person going, "We're on Terminus!" And then you just go, psh. I really don't like this episode. I think it's the weakest out of the Black Guardian trilogy, and I don't like the way Nissa leaves. I think she leaves way too soon. If she was to leave in the next story, it would have been understandable, but this story, not so much. Then we're coming up to the 5th story of the season, known as Enlightenment, and the Doctor is inside a space chase with a race with space pirate boats. And this story aired on part 1 aired on the 1st of March, part 2 aired on the 2nd of March, part 3 aired on the 8th of March, and part 4 aired on the 9th of March. So of course we see Tarlo still struggling to get rid of the Black Guardian, and he ends up going overboard, and the Doctor does have a go at him. And then when the Doctor does find out he was betrayed by the Black Guardian, but Tarlo is there trying to tell the Doctor he doesn't want to do it, the Black Guardian's making him. And then of course the White Guardian and the Black Guardian end up having a bit of a chest smash, and the Black Guardian basically burns into fire. But unfortunately, he wasn't defeated. Well, he was basically defeated, but he will. I think he could actually return, because the White Guardian says, as long as they're a White Guardian, you still need a Black Guardian. So he will still be out there, Doctor. Yep, he is. I like the beginning of it though, where the White Guardian trying to warn the Doctor about the Black Guardian, and where basically everything's going to be set up. It is a great story, absolutely brilliant. So the next story is known as The King's Demons, which was basically broadcast, well, part 1 was broadcast on the 15th of March, and part 2 was broadcast on the 16th of March. So this story sees the return of the Master, played by Anthony Ainley. And of course, you have King John, basically with the shape-shifting chameleon robot known as Chameleon, that basically is under the Master spell, until the Doctor and the Master ended up doing a kind of mind battle, even though the Master does say to the Doctor, "Is it about time you regenerate, Doctor?" And the Doctor just goes, "Oh, not really, no." Again, this episode is actually quite good. I absolutely like it. It sets up with the medieval thing with King John and everything. So that's mainly about it I can say about that one. But the Master does return in the next story as well. So the final story of this season is known as The Five Doctors, broadcast on the 25th of November 1983. And this is the anniversary special. We see the return of the first 3 Doctors, with the first Doctor being played by Richard Hamnell, because unfortunately William Hartnell, the original actor who played the first Doctor, passed away in 1975. So they ended up recasting, which they did for David Bradley as well in Twice Upon a Time. Patrick Troughton comes back as the second Doctor, and he is still magnificent as the second Doctor, especially when you see him like interacting with Nicholas Courtney and stuff. It's still a great stuff to see. And then of course John Pertwee comes back with his interference with Elizabeth Sladen when she literally talks to the Doctor. It's you. Yeah, of course it's me. No, you changed, you know. You all became teeth and kills. Yes. Well, yes, maybe I did, but I haven't yet. Right. Okay. I don't really understand that, but I really love the way she does that. And then of course you have the fifth Doctor with Tegan and Tarlo on the planet Eye of Orion, where they're having a rest after the Doctor has redecorated his brand new Tardis, and it's absolutely a great design. I do like the 1980s Tardis. And of course, with this, back on Gallifrey, we have this idiot named as a Time Lord Barusa, basically splitting up the Doctors and taking them out of time, splitting them across different time zones and everything else. So what could that possibly go wrong? Also in this, we do have a return of some villains. We do see a return of the Dalek after 5 years. We also see the return of the Master and the return of the Cybermen after being last seen in a year. And even something that has not even been seen in the show since 1968 in the review, a robot Yeti that was being controlled by the Great Intelligence. Yes, the return of the Yetis, and they are back. Well, it's basically 1 year, and it tries to kill the second Doctor and the Brigadier. Basically, as you like to think about it, it's after revenge after the Web of Fear incident when the Doctor encountered them. Of course, we are introduced to the Astron robot, who ends up destroying a whole lot of Cybermen, even taking the Cyberman's head off. Even though you do have that fantastic speech with the Doctor when he comes to end with his other selves, where they help him get rid of the mind lock that Barusa's put on him, and the Doctor goes, "You see, Barusa, not even 3 of me, you're strong enough." And then Barusa becomes a statue inside Rassilon's tomb. And then when Rassilon goes, "And you Doctors, would you like to become part of the would you like to play the game of infinity?" No. Please, we just want to return to our own proper time zones. It can be done. One of us is trapped. He too shall be freed. Again, I absolutely do love that episode, The Five Doctors, because you do have that magnificent line by the fifth Doctor. "I'm definitely not the man I was." Thank goodness. Although you have some great lines from the second and third Doctors. "So, you're the latest one, are you?" "Yes. And I'll see how our dress sense has not improved, nor has our manners." I love the bit with John Pertwee where he goes, "Goodbye, fancy pants, scarecrow." I love the comedy between the two of them. I really do like the comedy between the two Doctors, between the second and third Doctors. They're really great together, and the banter they give, I really love. So, this is the look back on Doctor Who 1983. I was going to do the ratings, but I don't really think it's fair for me to do the ratings because I don't know much about them. If you want to know the ratings for Doctor Who, I'm going to put the link to Doctor Who, the complete ratings, episode 20, season 20, done by AMTV, because they are really, really good for the Doctor Who viewing ratings at that point. So if you want to go and watch that video by them, that's magnificent, because I am going to put the link to them as well, because they are really, really good, as I know nothing about the ratings until I watch that video. Join me for another next week video where I look back in time on another year of Doctor Who. So right now, I'm going to pop back into my TARDIS, and I'm going to go travelling for a few more adventures in time and space. Thank you for watching, and have a great day. And join me tomorrow when I do a review on Nightmare of Eden.